I'd like to start with Awaken Group's transformation approach, because I think that's so powerful as we're looking at the 3 rings of transformation. That includes our approach to strategy and leadership and design. And, I'm putting inclusion in the center of those 3 rings as our purpose. So as we start with strategy, it's really important because I think especially with diversity and inclusion, when people think about it, a lot of companies only look at a few best practices or programs that they might engage with once, or they put it together and they might run one program through a long period of time. So they might have some great programs, but they don't have a strategy to build it into the company. And as Nadine mentioned, unless you're weaving it into the company, you're not going to be able to actually build a sustainable and inclusive culture and really create a transformation in the company. So we have to talk about strategy. We have to talk about what our purpose is, how we're going to get there, what our priorities and our objectives are in that area. And so the second thing is about leadership. And it's really important to realize that we have to have the support of senior management. Those initiatives and the support and the full investment have to come from the top in order to be realized and felt throughout the organization. So when the great change management initiatives and the great ideas and the great motivations for change come from HR or diversity and inclusion, oftentimes those departments and those programs may sit siloed from the rest of the company and from leadership support. So it's really important to get the buy-in, to have champions, to have sponsorship from the executive team. They have to be engaged in order to drive the purpose so that inclusion is woven throughout the fabric of the company. And the third, especially I think for Awaken Group, it's our design thinking approach for co-creation. And co-creating that change is really what's going to create that lasting and change by engaging key stakeholders throughout the process and throughout the transformation journey. So as we're identifying the priorities and putting together programs, we're using that process to get buy-in and to do the work of dreaming and discovering and ideating and testing and communicating our outcomes. So just making sure that we integrate and design those key issues and messages into the programs and making sure that the objectives are addressed. So, as we are looking to design inclusive culture, I just wanted to share what an ecosystem might look like, the different areas that we can consider when we're thinking about embedding inclusion into our corporations, into our firms, into our organizations. So I want to start with the heart that I just went over with inclusion, with the 3 rings around that, and then just to show a model of what that transformation journey might look like. So I think it's helpful to actually think about the organization from the internal and then the external systems that exist within the company and the changes, and we can talk about the changes that need to happen in each area. So as we're thinking about programs and interventions that bring inclusion in for everybody into the program and that affect the shifts, I think we can examine 4 different areas. And I think, I start with internal examination by looking at the workforce. So really seeing the employee experience and thinking about everything from, getting hired to, development and advancement and even the exit experience of that employee. Those are all opportunities to address inclusion and to have those cultural touch points. And then as the employee becomes engaged and develops their capabilities, they're able to make the impact and the role on the business. So we move into the business function and how a company builds their products and services and processes that support those offerings. There are opportunities there to actually bring inclusion, diversity and inclusion into that mix. So making sure that our products, our services are better, more profitable, more innovative. And that also includes processes within that area like procurement, working with suppliers and vendor relationships across the globe. And then as we're looking at the external systems that affect our company's ecosystem, we can look at the marketplace. And there we're actually looking at our customers, identifying customer experiences in diverse markets. The market research that can be done can help us target new markets. Getting innovation and diverse input, we can understand those markets and really create key marketing messages that target those communities. And we benefit from that with increased market share, mind share with new markets. And lastly, I want to recognize community as an important part of the ecosystem. And this is, I think, this fourth area is really an opportunity to tie our company's purpose and our products and services to a critical talent pool, to the community and to the world around us. So as we think about our function in the greater society, in our community, we can see that there are opportunities for a lot of different programs. And when I think about the programs that we can create in all four of these areas, I think in terms of, and the acronym ACROSS, working across differences, but programs that really address diversity and inclusion, that create awareness, that create community and collaboration, programs and interventions that create relationships both within the communities, the diverse communities, as well as throughout the whole ecosystem. Programs that create opportunities for all the people involved in the ecosystem, and then also building skill sets that are important, such as leadership development, and also creating specific solutions that are targeted toward diverse populations, and making sure that inclusion is stamped on the solutions, and examining needs of these communities and creating solutions that are targeted especially for them. So I know we're moving through that very quickly, and I just put up there all four of the areas we talked about as we were planning for this session. We were talking about many programs that could be put. So those are just examples and not checklist items, but just wanted you to get a sense for what the whole ecosystem could look like and how we can start thinking about embedding inclusion in our companies.